Hello there, children. No intro, just go! So things are looking up for Luke after becoming King of Duels. While nothing has really changed for him at all, he entered a Rush Duel tournament and all he got for it was this lousy cardboard crown. Oh, and a huge annoying ego. And is trying to recruit more people to the Rush Duel Club, but annoys them away. That's when he finds a kid in a chameleon outfit, of course. The kid seems to have lost his memory, so Luke names him Swirls.
Nice to meet you. I didn't say I joined yet. But you are, right?
Then honestly, I'm kind of tempted to forgo certain story beats because this show is so random. So fuck it. You don't need to know how or why we got here, but Yugioh is with Swirls now and takes him to Otis's relic to ask why he tried to delete Rush Duels, and he has Swirls duel him. This is just another tutorial duel, I guess, for new people coming in halfway through the show. I'm not really sure what the purpose is. And Swirls does win, and Otis's answer is he did it 'cause reasons. Like I said last time, that's his motivation for everything. Just felt like it. But now the children have a new friend, Swirls, and to deal with Luke's ego, Roman and Gavin went to Tiger, who honestly I kind of think steps over the line here, cause she takes Luke's comic he made when he was a kid, where he imagined himself as a hero named the Luke Man, and published it in the school newspaper to get him off his high horse. Which, that's kind of a dick move, Doja, embarrassing Luke like that. I mean, yeah, he's being a dick, but you didn't need to publicly humiliate him, just saying. Well anyway, the next episode gives us the big ongoing plot for this season. Looks like Mimi is starting to not like having to deal with all the responsibilities of being Goha's president. Also having an evil helmet on her that can take over her mind at any point, that also is a bit of an issue. Luckily for her, the real president comes back. Actually, presidents. Also, they're coming back from space in their spaceship.
Huh? Is that a spaceship?
We are the Goha 6, the true presidents of Goha Enterprises.
They're the real presidents of Goha?
We have returned from Goha Space Academy.
That's right, the Goha 6, not to be confused with the Goha Hexagon or Goha Double Six. They are 6 elementary school age siblings who run Goha, the entire company, and were away at school, in space. But now they're back, so Mimi gets the boot. And of course, like most antagonists, they are here to end Rush Duels, challenging Yugioh, and he doesn't have a choice because they equipped exercise machines called Forcercisers to his Rush Duel robot that are making it move and making its parts grind down and fall apart, and if it does, well, bye-bye Rush Duels. There are 6 on it, and for every win, 1 comes off. He has to beat all 6 presidents. But if they win 6 times, then they stay on the robot, and their other condition is Yugioh has to come work for Goha. First up is Yugioh, that's Y-U-R-O. Yes, all the Goha siblings have names beginning with U, which was annoying enough in Arc 5 when there was 4 of them. But don't worry, it gets even more confusing later. Yugioh does make this duel a bit more interesting, cause he makes it a Turbo Rush duel. Yes, a 5Ds callback. Difference is you have to win the duel and race to succeed, which is actually more interesting than 5Ds, where you just have to win the duel. Yugioh does win, taking off 1 Forcerciser, but the children see for losing, Yugioh has to forcibly resign as president as punishment for failing, and he zooms off. Also, we see the Goha sibling in yellow might have his own plans, as he meets with the helmet that controlled Mimi. Next up is Yujin, the blue one, who loves the ocean, so much Mako Tsunami is telling him to take a cold shower. Luke duels him and he wins, that's all that happens there. Next is the girl, named Yuka, who loves baseball. Like me, so it's already my favorite episode. Since she's the other girl and apparently godlike at baseball, Roman duels her. And I've shown it a couple times, but some of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel cards are like callbacks to previous Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, whether they be fan favorites or ones from the anime. Yuka's deck is straight up Yuma's deck. Yeah, you remember him from Zexel, the main character? It's just baseball versions of them. She's even got Utopia and everything. She doesn't exist summon though, that doesn't exist in Rush Duels, at least yet. I think it's kind of random that they took Yuma's deck, like his whole deck, and just made it baseball themed. Is that like a thing with him? Is he a real big baseball fan? Like, why is this a thing? Well, too bad for Roman, I guess, that using protagonist cards, any version of them, gives them protagonist powers. And Yuka beats Roman. Now the children have their first loss. And of course it was the girl who lost the first one. Don't worry, Roman, you won't be in the loser club for long, cause next Gavin duels Yu-Rin and gets his ass kicked. Yellow is going to be going next and says to the helmet he's got a special card that he verifies can be used in a Rush Duel. His name is Yugioh, and he duels Yugioh. And we see Yugioh might get an easy dub, because thanks to Asana, he has his old Maximum monster back. Looks like Yugioh is going to get the Goha's 3rd loss after they tied it up. But then he reveals he may not have a Maximum monster, but he's got something even better. Something other Rush Duelers can't replicate. Because remember when I said Rush Duels have No other summoning mechanics yet? I lied.
I activate the spell card. Fusion! This is where fate unites with destiny, where might and mayhem combine, a new life is born! I fusion summon! The cyborg type, Materian Ashura Star!
That's right, fusion. It's also the name of the card. Yeah, it's not polymerization for some reason, even though sometimes they take cards from the anime and put them straight in Rush Duel. Sometimes they change them. It's very weird, their rules for this. Though I do think the reason they changed it is because the way fusion works is that the two monsters have to be on the field, not in the hand. Wait, why am I explaining this? I don't care. And using this foreign concept called an extra deck, yugioh wins and beats Yuga. Badly. But now everyone is aware of this new fusion card. Even the other Goha siblings, who had no idea yugioh had a card so powerful until now, are even more worried about the fact that he hid it from them. So after that big revelation, it's time for a classic. That's right, I know you've missed them after Vrains. It's a clip show. Even the series with less than 100 episodes had to have one. Well, if you watch the original Japanese, because there are 3 clip shows total in this anime, but the dub thankfully skipped them. The only ones that they skipped, which is something we haven't seen since 5Ds, skipping episodes, but at least they picked good ones to skip and not a whole ass mini arc. However, I was actually thankful to watch it, because my god, hearing an actual anime opening after the ass that is Vrains and 7 intros, oh my god, it's so nice to hear a good song at the start of an anime to actually get you excited to watch it. The song is really good, I enjoy it. Can't play any of it for you because YouTube blocks Japanese songs and videos faster than you can say I activated my trap card. The ending's pretty catchy too. Really the only info necessary in this clip show episode is that Mimi, after losing her job as president, works at the Goha library now. Which is relevant because back in the dub, Swirls is there. The children sent him to maybe find a book on this mysterious fusion bullshit yugioh has. Then, watch this clip and see if you have the same reaction I did.
Where's the fusion sound? Whoa!
Sorry, I was running late for my rush duel and I didn't see you.
Well,
I promise to be more careful next time.
Did you catch it? It was fast. Let me play it again for you.
I promise to be more careful next time.
So I hope you thought the same thing I did when I saw it, which is, wow, that kid is way too over-designed to be an extra. So I looked it up, and apparently that was a cameo. Not like in the sense of anything outside of Yu-Gi-Oh! He's actually the protagonist from a Yu-Gi-Oh! Video game. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel Dawn of the Battle Royale, which I didn't even know existed until 5 minutes ago. And that cameo was, I guess, a cross-promotion? Yeah, that 5 seconds he was on screen? I guess that's why I never heard of it, they barely advertise it. I mean, in the anime, the cameo wasn't for nothing, cause thanks to that encounter, Swirls finds a book labeled Sevens. Probably not relevant, should put it back. Mimi sees Swirls with this book and wants to see it too, but Swirls knows it's important, so he doesn't let her just see it. I don't get why they can't just look at it together. So the two duel, but cause they're in a library, they duel quietly, which is funny.
my baby dragon attacks your Diane Keto. Huh? I attack Diane Keto. What'd you say? Then my Celtic Guardian and my Gazelle attack you directly. Huh? You really need to speak up.
Also, Swirls uses the OG Dark Magicians. The Gooners missed you, Mana. The outcome doesn't matter because they do what I just said and read the book together. Like, see, it was that easy. And they see it's a legend about a wizard and some warriors journeying on the 7 roads or whatever. The actual legend doesn't matter, but they realize this is probably what inspired Otis to be Otis. Also, they see pages have been torn out and are surprised when they read the ending. Meanwhile, with the children, they are trying to cheer up Yuga, who's apparently crashing out after losing to Yuo's fusion. But after stuff, Yuga confronts Yuo, and it turns out he loves that shit. He's so excited a new card like Fusion is around, and mostly just wants to find out how it works. But Yuo only says he found it in space, and then tells them to fuck off. But now having this card, the other Goha siblings are wary of Yuo, thinking his plan must be to use this card to take them out so he can be the sole president of Goha. They're right, that is his plan. Back at Yuga's workshop, Swirl shows up with the children's book, and he shows them the ending, where it ends in tragedy. Everyone dies. The end. But because of the missing pages, they don't know why it ended up like this. Well, despite all that, the children are still dueling the Gohas, and Yuka is back to duel. But this time, Roa steps up to the plate, and cause he's not a girl, he beats Yuka, giving the children another win. But more importantly is Luke, who is doing something no one expected. Thinking. Because he's come to a realization he has no goals in life. I mean, you're also like, what, 11, 12, Luke? You shouldn't really have any at this point. But you may remember that his goal was to be King of Duels, and he is. He's got the title, so there's nowhere left to go now. So while wandering around thinking about what to do, he finds a fallen star, at least that's what he thinks it is. The next day, Tiger tells the children that Luke's been acting strange, well, stranger than usual. So they try to find him, but Yugioh appears again for the next duel. Unfortunately, no one has any countermeasure to fusion yet, but that's when a hero appears.
Who's there?
I am known by many names. Conqueror of the corrupt, Slayer of the sinister, and the Conqueror of the corrupt.
Where have you been, Luke? We've been looking all over for you!
I don't know who this Luke you speak of is. I'm the one forged by 7 supernovas, the defender of dragons and the one who defends the dragons. I am the Luke Man! The Luke Man!
Yeah, Luke for some reason is dressing up like his superhero Sona from his childhood webcomic. And again, man, I can't dislike this show. I think the shit's so stupid, it's really funny. Not just Luke and the way he talks now, they even commit to the Sentai superhero bit with commercial bumpers and everything.
The Luke Man will continue after these messages. Now back to the Luke Man.
And Luke, despite acting crazy, might know what he's doing because he does use one of the strongest cards in the game.
The Luke Man activates the spell Pot of Greed. It lets me draw 2 cards.
If only I knew what it did. But he also uses another card that I guess matters, Fusion. Yep, Luke, shocking everyone, somehow has Fusion and uses it to beat Yugioh. But afterward, when Luke's mask comes off, he has no memory of doing any of that, almost as if he was possessed, or maybe another word for it? Yurin, being the only one who hasn't lost, is now the sole president, and tries to restore his siblings' presidency, including Yugioh, so they can all work together. But Yugioh does not want any of that, and you may have noticed, despite being in the Goha 6, there's one missing.
Called the Goha 6, right? But when you actually count them all out, there's only 5 of them!
Yeah, we know that.
And Yugioh somehow has that sibling's badge thingy that still makes him a president, I guess, and decides to start his official hostile takeover of Goha. But he realizes he might need some help now if Luke has access to Fusion. But hey, why get someone to beat Luke when you can just get Luke? Cause he's stupid, and you may remember way back, his other goal besides becoming King of Duels was to become President of Goha to spread Rush Duels. So Yugioh, I'd say trick, but he just kinda tells him, and Luke believes him, that he is the secret 6th Goha sibling and is now president with him, but slightly below him, of course. Meanwhile, Roa, of all people, visits Mimi, asking about how Luke was acting as the Luke Man, being possessed and not having any memory of it. And he brings up that it's exactly like when Mimi was womaned by the Goha president helmet. So the two of them and Swirls, who was hanging around the library, I guess, I mean, better than on the streets, break into Goha to find out more, but are caught by Yugioh and Luke. And they learn Luke is president now, not just because he beat Yugioh, but something I didn't even realize until now is he has never lost a Rush Duel. Yeah, if you think about it, Luke has a perfect record, which makes sense. He is an idiot, but Luke is a pretty damn good duelist. Yeah, he's like a negative version of a woman. What would you call that? A man? Nah, that's stupid. So to distract them, Roa duels Luke so Mimi and Swirls can sneak off. Roa does lose, which inflates Luke's ego more, declaring to his friends he's the new president of Goha. But Mimi and Swirls make it to the inner sanctum, and somehow Swirls knows exactly which buttons to push to open a secret hatch in the president's office, something even she didn't know about. And they see one of the helmets is missing, which I don't really know they needed to do that to confirm it. The helmet's literally there floating around Yugioh. It's with him all the time. This was just to show Swirls knew the code, because that is important later. So they tell the children that the president helmet is what made Luke the Luke Man, and now are wondering why the helmet is doing this and how it has access to Fusion. Later, the other Goha siblings come to Yugioh for help in stopping Yugioh from taking over Goha, but he's reluctant to stop Luke, especially if somehow he is a Goha. But Tiger shows up to reveal no, he's just being an idiot, and she takes the children to their mansion. Yeah, Luke and Tiger are rich. Like, super rich. And you may have noticed I've never actually said their last names. That's because they never really revealed them until now. But their family owns and operates Callister Gears. You'll never guess what they make. And yeah, between Goha, Mutsuba, and Callister, there are a lot of family-owned businesses that are like in cahoots with each other in this town that also contributed to making it. But yeah, pretty much anything that needs a gear runs on Callister Gears in the city. And of course, Goha and Mutsuba, being the big tech and machine industries they are, need a lot of gears. So yeah, they're doing pretty well for themselves. They also meet Luke's granddad, named Granddad. Anyway, Luke returns home to get a pair of pants, so Tiger attacks him and challenges him to a rush duel to get him to stop this Goha nonsense. And it seems like she's about to beat Luke, but that's when Luke Man appears and uses his trump card.
The Luke Man activates Pot of Greed. It allows me to draw 2 cards.
We're so fucking back, dude. Also Fusion. And he beats Tiger as he continues his ramblings as a big-time CEO at Goha. But after watching that duel, Yugioh gets an idea and decides to team up with the Goha siblings, saying he knows how to beat Luke and get through to him. Later, Yugioh, wondering how Luke got a fusion card, goes to Nail, because he considers since he made Maximum Monsters, he thinks he had a hand in fusion as well. But Nail says he didn't do it and only thinks someone like Otis could make something like that, but says Yugioh might have his own theory. But before Nail gets back to work, Yugioh has a new assignment for him. Back with the children, they're called by Asana and the long name club, I'm not saying it anymore, to help Tiger, who is training harder than usual to save Luke since she lost last time. That's of course when Yugioh shows up for the next duel, and their opponent is Nail, who would normally stay out of this, but he is technically an employee of Goha if you remember, so he can't go against Yugioh the president. So Asana decides to duel him, and she wins, thanks to sapphic, friendship. And fed up with being a pawn, Nail officially quits Goha, to Yuo's annoyance. And the scores are kinda weird now, with Luke working for Goha now, but also he's still their friend, so it's all kinda fucked. So Yugioh decides to agree with Yugioh that it's 5-5. So the next duel will decide the winner. And Yugioh immediately begins the final duel against the Luke Man, that is kinda fun. Then to everyone's shock, suddenly Yugioh starts entertaining Luke's delusions, becoming a supervillain, Yugioh the Destroyer. That's when the Goha siblings and Mimi arrive, saying he's doing this because Yugioh figured out who made Fusion and the identity of the Luke Man. They're tied together because the Luke Man made Fusion. Okay, remember at the end of the last video where I was like, alright, shit's fucked, man, don't even try to make sense of it? Well, get ready for this. I really mean it this time. Your suspension of disbelief is about to get tested hard. So back when Luke made the Luke Man, cause he could never beat his sister, he threw himself into this power fantasy with all of his spirit, emotion, and heart, and it was never meant to be shown until Tiger found it, and actually liked it, I guess, and to support her brother, tried to fax it to a comic book company. Yes, fax, with a fax machine. And since this came out in the 2020s, she didn't know how to use it, and chopped it. Then she published it in the school paper back in that one episode. And that chop is what gave life to the Luke Man. And again, any other series, I would be calling out how fucking stupid this is, and no, actually, this is still kind of fucking stupid. Still not as dumb as Dino Hasselberry. I will never get over it. Because at least here, the other characters are calling out how bullshit this is. Anyway, the chop caused some technobabble, which essentially scanned the comic, I guess, and made the Luke Man into an AI. And then eventually, the Luke Man program AI living being thing made it to space, and found an old Goha satellite filled with data in the form of cards, and he turned them into the fusion cards, one eventually found by Yugioh after it crashed into his space school. Oh, and the reason Yugioh is acting like a villain isn't to help Luke, he just thinks it's fun, even adding a twist to his character that he's actually undercover and is really the Luke Man's partner in crime, fighting the Yugioh Man, and even the other kids get in on the LARPing. Stupid story for fusion aside, come on man, this is just fun. Again, I like this stuff, it's my kind of goofy nonsense. Not to mention, this duel is actually really good.
The Luke Man activates the spell Pot of Greed, which allows him to draw 2 cards from his deck.
The duels between Yugioh and Luke are actually usually pretty decent, with a lot of back and forth and interaction. And again, the show knows how stupid it is. I mean, during the duel, a literal meteor crashes into Yugioh, who deflects it with his duel disc and is perfectly fine, but it wasn't actually a meteor, it was debris from a Goha satellite, allowing him to get a data card and use it to make a fusion card of his own. And using that, he wins, defeating the Luke Man once and for all. But Yugioh won't be done in so easily, and plans on destroying the Rush Duel robot himself, until Kaizo crashes into the ship, and into a pot of curry made by Roman that was left there a few episodes ago, blowing up and destroying the ship, and Rush Duels are safe again. Again, I could have explained that in more detail, but to be honest, it wouldn't make any more sense. Luke is now freed from the Luke Man's control as everyone says goodbye to him as he flies off into space. And they see shooting stars that are actually fusion cards. Looks like everyone's gonna have some now. But Yugioh is still a sore loser and won't resign as president of Goha despite losing. So Yugioh makes a deal with him.
What if I cut you a deal? If you agree to let your family be presidents again, I'll agree to work for Goha.
Then the next episode is the next undubbed clip show about Roman and Gavin distracting Yugioh, who is feeling some guilt about what he did by showing flashbacks. Only important things there are Mimi gets her old job at Goha back, and at the end, when Yugioh is shocked his siblings threw a surprise party for him, He has a weird memory. A memory he forgot about. Something about their 6th sibling. And I'm actually going to stop here. Yeah, this was pretty short. Maybe it's the shortest one. I'm not sure if this will be over the Capsule Monster one. But the reason I'm cutting this so short is 1, I need a break after all these long videos I've been doing. 2, we're stopping right before episode 69, so you have something to look forward to. And the last 23 episodes of the show, yeah, we're that close to being done, I think go together with each other pretty well, and not really so much with the Luke Man and Goha President stuff, even though they are really all connected. Join me next time where we will meet the 6th Goha sibling and see the future of Rush Duels. Because remember, that road is never ending and even extends to the far reaches of space. See you then.